showing you for a year in advance, I told you unrest was coming to Europe, and then it's coming here. I have shown you now, in the last few months, the actual unrest and violence in the streets of Europe. Again, today in Greece, the unions shut down public transportation. Who did I tell you would do that? The unions. Students are taking to the streets again in England over possible tuition hikes. I told you that would happen a year ago. We showed you the burning cars. We've showed you how they are mirroring the failed economic policies here in America. I'm a paranoid lunatic, seditious. This must just be suffocating paranoia. Now, let me ask you this. Are they willing now to say the same thing about the Pentagon? Because they have been wargaming an economic crisis for almost 2 years now. One of these war games was called Unified Quest 2011. Listen to what they are preparing for at the Pentagon.
In that wargaming series, they're looking at the implications of large-scale economic breakdown inside the United States that would force the Army to keep, quote, domestic order among civil unrest and force the Army to deal with fragmented global power and drastically lower budgets.
That's weird. That's weird. That's just paranoid lunatics. They're seditious over there at the Pentagon, I guess. Now, what would be some of the things that might cause civil unrest? Well, let me show you a picture today from theblaze.com. It's of the Alaskan National Guard taking part in an exercise here for civil unrest. Oh, what does the guy have, the demonstrator have? Well, it's a sign that says, "Food now." Well, why would he need a sign like that? Oh, yeah, that's right. The suffocating vision of paranoia. Food shortage, or food being scarce, or food just being too expensive because coming inflation. Absolutely without merit, and I'm mentally ill. Really? The National Guard is going for that, along with the Pentagon. I've talked about the importance for preparing for tough times, having enough food and supplies, getting out of debt, being self-reliant. The reaction, without merit, doomsday, probably mentally ill. But when Time magazine posts an article, impending crisis, Earth to run out of food by 2050, I'm sure this is some sort of green nightmare. This is good journalism. The only people I trust in the government, only ones I trust, are the military. The military is preparing. Are you? But the military, I believe, are being boxed into a corner by people who actually have their hands on the levers of power. And it is those holding the levers of power that have been creating the conditions to make these scenarios possible. And that goes anywhere from Harry Reid to Obama, all the way to the kingmaker himself, George Soros. Not the guy who has a stupid show at 5 p.m. or 2 p.m. Pacific. I mean, who am I up against in the Pacific Coast? The Price is Right? The media will demonize and glorify whom they want. The point of this monologue is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're me or Soros or the Pentagon or economic experts. It doesn't matter. We're now all saying the same thing. I've been saying it for 2 years. That should tell you something that they've now joined. Because the next thing on the docket is to control the media and to control food prices. Civil unrest and rising food prices and controlling the media.
Shenk. You're looking at this because you're concerned or interested in food. Let me tell you where this all came from. We've been involved with shipping food all over the country for about 27 years. And it came from the old pioneers. My daddy was 62 when I was born. That means he was born in 1887. And the old timers always had food. Reason? Americans are rugged individualists. They're independent. They don't need nothing from nobody. And the reason the old pioneers and the old timers always had food around is because it's our greatest dependency. And they never knew when they were going to have a crop or when they weren't. And they were ready. Hey, I'm a farm boy from Minnesota, and it's just about impossible for me, along with the rest of you, I'm sure, to believe that in America, the breadbasket of the world, it's possible to have food problems. But we do. You realize in 1959, this country could have fed the entire world 5 times over? Now, we're importing 30% of our food? This is scary. And right now, with the economy the way it is, over 30% of our families, when they go down to the grocery store every week, have to make a decision as to whether they're going to buy food or pay some other bills that they've got sitting on their doorstep. The stock market is up and down like a yo-yo. Nations are falling over one thing: food. Isn't that interesting? Food has always been the issue of wars and rumors of wars. Nations have fallen because food was not there. And it's happening right now on this planet. We're living in fearful times. And here's a thought for you. Every single fear that we have is based on some dependency being threatened. If we didn't need our jobs, we wouldn't fear losing them. If we didn't need the credit from the bank, we wouldn't worry about whether we had it or not. If we didn't need food, we wouldn't worry about whether the farmers can afford to stay in business. Very simply, eliminate fear by being independent.